Boss, how many dishes can I get for 100 yuan? I'll arrange 12 dishes for you. 9 meat and 3 vegetarian. The first one is fried mackerel. The second one is braised lamb's trotters. The third one is fried tenderloin. And the fourth one is scrambled eggs with sheep's blood.
In recent news from rural markets in Shandong, China, a trend known as the 100 yuan challenge has gained significant traction. This challenge involves customers spending only 100 yuan at the market stalls, and in return, the vendors arrange a feast according to the number of people present. The aim is to provide customers with a satisfying and abundant meal at an incredibly low cost. Videos show people enjoying a feast for a mere 100 yuan, roughly equivalent to $15. The affordability of such meals has captured the attention of many social media influencers, prompting them to experience it firsthand. While the prices of ingredients in rural China are notably low, these meals are cheaper than expected. This phenomenon has raised questions about urban price levels. To gain insight on this, let's turn our attention to a blogger's experience in Chengdu, Sichuan province.
The deflation in China is really getting more and more outrageous now. I see that overseas friends in the comments section are complaining, saying that they live in Western countries and inflation is so severe that they can no longer afford to eat out. But in China, it's a different story. Deflation is becoming worse. For example, a Chaoshan beef hot pot restaurant we often go to has sent me a message through its official account saying that it is celebrating its anniversary and is offering a 90% discount on the entire restaurant. Chaoshan beef is not expensive in the first place. A plate of beef may cost more than 30 yuan, and it only costs 3 yuan at a discount. How can we continue to do this?
Following this, the blogger went to a hot pot restaurant to investigate. As anticipated, all beef items were discounted, but vegetables and fruits remained at regular prices. Ultimately, the blogger and his spouse spent a total of 369 yuan, enjoying a discount of 287 yuan, effectively spending only 82 yuan or $11. This Chaozhou-style hot pot restaurant has been in operation for at least 8 years, with over 20 chain stores in Chengdu. Previously, business was thriving. The blogger couldn't help but express his astonishment. Even restaurant chains are offering significant discounts, which paints a grim picture of inflation in China. The situation indicates potential future economic troubles for the country. It's not just large restaurants struggling.
Running a restaurant is incredibly tough right now. It's currently the end of the workday, and there are actually quite a few cars on the road. Look at this location on the map. It's marked as extremely busy, indicating that there are a lot of people around here. But how's business for the community commercial area? Let's see, the stall over there, no one's buying anything. The pastry shop, no customers either. 3 squirrels, the snack shop, as you can see, no customers there either. The cooked food shop, also empty. The fried chicken seller, walking alongside me, also no customers. Just now, the boss saw me and seemed very excited. Another colleague, Wallace's Fried Chicken Burger Shop, only has 1 takeout order and it's pretty quiet inside. This restaurant has 1 table of diners. The hot pot restaurant across the street has 2 tables of diners. The yogurt shop has no customers. The ramen shop has closed down. The internet-famous brand Tustin Chinese Burger Shop has 3 orders. The grilled fish shop, only the boss is sitting there. And the milk tea coffee shop over there, no customers either.
Business is also sluggish in the clothing industry, especially physical stores, which are struggling to survive due to high rents. Today is Saturday, the weather is sunny, and it's already past 3 o'clock at my place, yet no one has come in. How's business going? I'm not trying to spread anxiety, really, but there's truly no one here, and I can't see anyone on the street either. Yesterday, in my live stream, there was a beautiful lady who said she pays a rent of 100,000 a year, and she hasn't opened her shop for a week. Many people questioned how the business could be so bad. I truly empathize with her. If it weren't for my online presence, I wouldn't be open either. What sort of situation is this? It's something we've never experienced before. Our physical stores are all sick. If there's no remedy, I estimate that many physical stores will close down this year. At the price point I'm operating in, it's mid to low end, and it's the most difficult. Most people just don't have money now. Either the low-end businesses do a bit better, or the mid to high ones do slightly better. The wealthy still have money. So when the common folk are struggling, it affects our business. After all, we're also common folks. Not only is the catering industry severely affected, the automobile industry is also expecting rounds of price wars, and competition between brands has become fierce. The repeated price cuts of new cars have also left those second-hand car dealers with no room for survival.
With the current market situation of second-hand cars in Guangzhou, even such a high-quality Corolla with more than 10,000 yuan cannot be sold now. If you look at our space, we still have hundreds of used cars piled up. Now it can't be cleared or sold. There's really no other way. If these cars cannot be sold after a while, some of them may have to be scrapped. There's no way because due to the impact of the big price cuts of new cars and new energy vehicles this year, it is difficult to sell our used cars.
Of course, the biggest price cuts are in China's property market.
My goodness, house prices have dropped again. April is coming to an end in 5 days. Now the listing prices of second-hand houses are falling again and again. There are still only a handful of people paying for them, and the market is becoming increasingly deserted. The same is true for the new home market, the 10% off, 8% off, or even 15% off. May Day is coming, and developers will also launch preferential policies. But after May Day, the market will only get worse and worse.
It can be said that many industries in China are very depressed now. Strangely, everyone has stopped shopping. There are no people on the streets, shopping malls, or supermarkets. In a big country with a population of 1.4 billion, in a city with a population of more than 30 million, there are no customers in the stores and no one on the streets. Where have all the people gone? Amidst the prevailing consumer downturn, while many people believe China is experiencing deflation, residents across various regions are facing increases in basic necessities such as water, electricity, gas, and gasoline prices. Previously, we reported on gas prices in Chongqing, where residents have noticed a significant increase compared to last year, with some experiencing hikes of several times the previous rates. Moreover, prices of fruits and vegetables in urban supermarkets have also soared.
Now, it's not there are no people, it's that people don't have money. Just take the example of someone earning 5,000 to 6,000 yuan a month. When they go to the supermarket fruit section, they feel as if they can't afford anything there. There are no fruits below 3 yuan. For someone in the working class, picking out 4 or 5 fruits costs over 10 or 20 yuan, which isn't cheap. I bought 4 crown pears at 3 yuan and 5 cents per kilogram. The cheapest fruit available, a box of loose potato chips, 4 biscuits, and a large bottle of water, totaling 31 yuan. For someone earning 3,500 yuan a month, they only earn a little over 100 yuan a day. Add in expenses like rent and utilities, and they end up in the negatives for the day. They simply can't afford to live. Even vegetables aren't cheap. Is it that we're unwilling to buy things, unwilling to go to the mall, unwilling to spend? It's just beyond our capability. Where in the supermarket do you see the most people? It's only at the discounted items section.
China is indeed witnessing an unprecedented phenomenon. On one hand, prices of goods such as real estate, automobiles, home appliances, and clothing have been steadily declining. Sluggish sales indicate deflation. The international community is discussing China's deflation and excess exports. On the other hand, prices of essential items such as vegetables, fruits, water, electricity, gas, and gasoline have been steadily rising, leading to widespread grievances among ordinary citizens. However, according to economic data released by the Chinese government, the Consumer Price Index, CPI, rose by 0.3% year-on-year in March, suggesting a slight hint of inflation. A Chinese netizen has offered their perspective. They believe that China's current economic situation is neither deflation nor inflation, but rather a scenario they describe as total slaughter. They argue that the Chinese Communist Party, CCP, has artificially created this economic anomaly through administrative means, aiming to take advantage of the entire populace, a phenomenon they term as total slaughter. This spells total economic collapse.
How are people's lives nowadays? Is there any money in your pocket? Just look at current consumption. I'll share some data from my grocery store, which has been in business for 16 years. I won't speculate about the future economic speculation, but it matters to people's lives, so I'll speak about it. For example, tobacco is a special commodity. In the past 5 years, the price of high-end cigarettes has been stable, but sales have plummeted. The price of tobacco, which costs around 10 yuan, has increased. In 5 years, the cumulative increase has been as high as 40%. For example, Hebaisha, which everyone is familiar with, has risen from 6 yuan to 10 yuan, and Jinbaisha has jumped from 9 yuan to 13 yuan. Compared with wages and other prices, tobacco is undoubtedly the best. What is the reason why low-quality cigarettes are so popular? I think everyone has a common answer. It must be that ordinary people are cash-strapped, which is why the price of tobacco in this category has increased due to its popularity. If no one buys it at all, can it rise so much?
Actually, this netizen only got half of it right. While it's true that people are tightening their belts, opting for cheaper cigarettes, which led to their price hikes, they overlooked a crucial fact. Tobacco in China is a state monopoly, and this monopoly distorts prices. Just like water, electricity, gas, and gasoline, these are all industries monopolized by the state. The control over these industries lies with state-owned enterprises, SOEs, giving them the power to set prices. In the face of declining consumer purchasing power, the sales of these products also shrink, so they resort to price hikes to protect their profits, essentially maintaining the compensation levels of those working in these monopolized industries. On the other hand, products like cars, home appliances, clothing, and housing are oversupplied, leading to significant competition within these industries. Consequently, prices are adjusted based on market forces, leading to price reductions. Therefore, the real situation in China should be deflation. The apparent inflation of certain commodities is entirely the result of government intervention. YouTuber Mr. Sun Official analyzed the abnormal phenomena in the Chinese economy on his program. He believes that the positive growth reflected in China's CPI does not necessarily indicate genuine inflation. It's essential to not only look at CPI, but also compare it to the Producer Price Index, PPI, the trend of which shows the relationship between the prices of producers' goods and the end consumer prices. This comparison helps determine whether the current situation leans towards inflation or deflation. We know that while China's CPI rose by 0.3% year-on-year, its PPI, which reflects the factory prices of manufacturing goods, has decreased by 2.8% year-on-year, indicating deflation on the production side. Thus, China's current situation is one where consumer prices are experiencing slight inflation while production prices are deflating, a scenario that is also quite unusual. Why is this situation unusual? Typically, CPI and PPI are positively correlated, meaning an increase in PPI should drive up CPI. When these indicators deviate from each other, it often signifies economic problems. For instance, during the outbreak of the Russia-Ukraine war, China's trends in these two indices were opposite. While the Producer Price Index rose, the Consumer Price Index fell, which is an abnormal phenomenon. Such occurrences result from imported inflation, especially when energy or raw material prices surge, leading to significantly higher production costs. However, without a corresponding increase in consumer spending, products cannot be sold at higher prices. The sharp increase in costs eats away at profits, drastically compressing the profitability of businesses. In such circumstances, companies generally struggle to make profits, and some even face the risk of losses or bankruptcy. This indicates a highly perilous stage for the economy, as seen in China in recent years. However, the current situation is different. Factory prices are decreasing while consumer prices are increasing, indicating an imbalance in the entire structure of the Chinese market. From a supply-demand perspective, there is an excess supply coupled with severely inadequate demand, meaning people simply don't have money to spend. Therefore, we see a grim picture in the production sector throughout China. This is the primary reason why many manufacturers say they can't hold on anymore. Consumer spending is low, yet prices are rising, indicating the presence of artificial factors. In other words, an additional cost has been artificially added between factory prices and final consumer prices, forcibly inflating the CPI index. So, what is this cost? It's essentially the cost the Chinese government imposes to fleece the people, deliberately increasing costs through relevant government departments. For example, raising various basic fees and charges can artificially increase the consumer price index. The most typical example is increasing the cost of energy, such as the prices of water, electricity, gas, and gasoline, as mentioned earlier. Mr. Sun believes that the CCP's approach is worse than the effect of the PPI-CPI disparity. The latter is a situation compelled by objective pressures, while the former is a deliberate increase in costs. This approach superficially raises the consumer price index, barely maintaining nominal inflation. However, this forced price hike essentially increases consumers' economic burdens and pressures, akin to taking advantage of a crisis. If China continues on its deflationary trend, the result will be further comprehensive economic decline, specifically in consumption, investment, and infrastructure. The overall economic level will regress significantly. In this process, China's private enterprises will be the most affected, with a wave of collapses expected. First, let's examine the dire situation of China's real estate sector. According to statistics, in the first 3 months of 2024, the sales area of newly built commercial housing fell by 19.4% year-on-year, and sales revenue dropped by 27.6% year-on-year. The funds in place for real estate enterprises decreased by 26% year-on-year during the first 3 months. Therefore, the real estate industry is collapsing at a visible rate. Moreover, the real estate sector is closely related to the 3 major sectors of consumption, investment, and infrastructure. We know that the real estate industry in China accounts for a significant proportion of investment, and private investment, particularly from private enterprises, plays a crucial role in real estate investment. Previously, many Chinese private enterprises mainly invested in the secondary industry, creating numerous manufacturing jobs. However, due to the impact of the subprime mortgage crisis, the real estate economy declined, and the property bubble began to inflate. Consequently, some enterprises that were originally engaged in the real economy could not sustain themselves and turned to real estate instead. Now, the problem is that China's real estate has already collapsed. Those private enterprises that fled from manufacturing to real estate over a decade ago must now leave the industry to find a new path. But where else can they go? Returning to the real economy is not an option, as it might lead to even quicker demise. Persisting in real estate development is a dead end. Therefore, the only viable option left for Chinese private enterprises is to leave China and invest overseas. However, doing so will inevitably exacerbate the asset shortage in mainland China, further dampening investments. Without new investment, there won't be new projects, and consequently, no new job opportunities will be created. As the market faces a shortage of assets, it may lead to layoffs with salary cuts in companies. This decline in employment and income will impact China's consumption data. With the real estate sector collapsing, the government's main revenue source from land transfers will decrease sharply, resulting in insufficient funds for infrastructure and government investments. Consequently, the progress of infrastructure development will be limited by the real estate downturn. Overall, when the real estate sector collapses, consumption and infrastructure investment collapse together, leading to comprehensive collapse. This summarizes the basic situation of China's ongoing deflation. Currently, authorities are artificially boosting the CPI index, but they can't hide the fact that China's economy is collapsing and deflation is ongoing. In this deflationary environment, Chinese businesses can't stay in real estate or return to manufacturing. Plus, only a few can invest overseas, so most Chinese businesses are stuck with no options, facing inevitable failure. In the end, most private enterprises will likely undergo mixed ownership reform, collaborating with the government in the second phase of corporate restructuring. This aligns with the ultimate goal of the CCP. Thus, China's economic trend leads towards deflation, progressively shrinking. If deflation continues, it could lead to a return to a planned economy resembling wartime systems, indicating a full-scale economic collapse. However, currently, this is just the initial stage of China's economic decline.